Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie, I'm your host, and I'm so excited to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 10th of September at 11 a.m. Pacific time. But if you're listening to an archive or a replay, I want to also welcome you to the show. We're going to have a great day. I have a lot of fun planned for us today. Right on, right? I see some of you showing up here in the chat room with me. So I want to let you know that you can find us and join us over in the chat by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number 2 radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. I am also live streaming this event from the chat room, so you can watch it rather than just listen to it if you choose to. If you would like to come back and watch the live stream later, you can find it here in the chat anytime, but it also will be uploaded over to my YouTube channel, which is Domestic Mystic on YouTube. So that's a mouthful. A lot of stuff happening here. I hope that you guys are having a good week. We had such a lovely, lovely weekend. We went camping in the mountains not too far from our home, right on the banks of the Snake River, and to a place that's just, it's always kind of magical, but in the fall, it's just straight up magic there. And so we camped, it rained and misted and was foggy most of the time we were there, and it was just so beautiful. Not really cold, you know, jacket weather, but it's starting to feel like fall around here, so I would expect that. But, you know, we sat around the fire a lot, we drank a lot of hot coffee, we took some hikes in the rain, and it was awesome. So lots of fun, lots of magic for me, a great reconnection to the earth, which is something that I always seem to need a little bit. So lots of good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I was way excited to get out. So camping is always just a, you know, it's an opportunity for me at least to just do something different, which is good. I'm gonna sip on my tea a little bit here. What are you guys drinking this morning? I always like to ask, I'm always curious. I'm drinking Constant Comment tea. That was my mom's favorite tea. It was always in the cupboard, and every once in a while I have to buy a box because it reminds me of her, and I love it as well. So that's what I'm rocking this morning. Alrighty, we have a ton of stuff to do. I have the funnest show planned because we're coming up on a full moon shortly, a harvesty moon, a fall moon, one of the best there is, really, right? So I have a fun reading to offer you along those lines, but I want to tell you that my chat, there's a banner at the top of the page in the chat room that you'll see that says The Katie Weaver Show. That's where you'll see people talking. If you comment in the live stream, I will probably see it, and I love you all for commenting there. I probably will miss it if it's a reading request because it just moves quickly. So I have to say, Taya said that I have a great laugh, so thank you for that. It's born through a lot of practice. Mostly laughing, well, at Scott, but aren't we supposed to laugh at our spouses? With them. With them. That's what I meant, right? That's what I meant. Okay. A couple of things I want to share with you. I have a brand new product line that I'm really, really excited about, and I want to share that with you guys. Ooh, Christina is drinking orange spice tea from Stash. Yum. That's similar to Constant Comment. There's a lot of orange in it. Yum. I love it. Okay. So here is, I'm going to put a link in the chat room, but you can also find it over my website at katie-weaver.com. But this is my brand new collection. I've been designing t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that just as a creative endeavor. Sometimes I need a break from what I'm doing, I guess, and need to do something creative. So this is what it is. So it is my Divine Symbols collection, and I had so much fun with this. There are 7 shirts in it. The Universe at Your Fingertips, The Wondrous Moon, Merkaba Magic, Intuitive Divinity, The Flower of Om, The Eternal Lotus of Light, and The All-Seeing Eye of Love. So take a look, tell me if you love them or if you hate them. don't tell me that. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys because I'm having a ball making these and designing the shirts and the bags, the mugs, the whatever. Anyway, it's just something fun. Okay, with that being said, I want to head over to Luminous, of course. Luminous is the magazine that I publish every single week with a lot of assistance from my colleagues at 1-2-Listen, who are generous enough to bring us new articles every week, which is a commitment, I'll tell you that. Monday morning rolls around very quickly and suddenly new articles are due, and these guys are such professionals. They do such an awesome job. So, I have to say, Taya is drinking raspberry leaf tea, nice, and Quelly is drinking soy matcha green tea latte, yum. You guys are awesome. Why are we not all drinking some variety of pumpkin spice something? Why? I actually have a plan to go to a coffee hut later because I really want that. I'm craving it. I also just need to go to the store and buy some pumpkin spice seasoning because I have eaten it all. And so I need to get some. 'Tis the season. All right. Well, let's take a look at Luminous. I put a link in the chat room, but you can also head over to katie-weaver.com and click on the Katie's Magazine link and open it up right there too. So it's tiny there on my website, but if you see there's this arrow that you click on, it's like a 4-way arrow. That's probably not what it's called, but that'll pull it up to a full screen on your device. So first of all, this is the first time ever that I have used one of my own photos on the cover of Luminous. This was something that we found on one of our hikes over the weekend. In that place, there's a lot of cottonwood trees, and because there's a lot of cottonwood trees, there's tons of viney stuff, and the vines are just magical as hell. So it just was this mound of vines hanging down with all this greenery, and it looked like this was the entrance to some kind of ancient, land of the Fae or something. It was so cool. Christy and I stood around it and took pictures of it and just loved on it for a long time. And I loved it so much that I decided to make it the cover this week. So that's kind of fun. Alrighty, I called the magazine this week the Stillness Edition because there's a real energy this week of needing to be still, needing to be quiet, just needing to be and allow yourself to just be, which is kind of, we're usually, well, not, I guess usually, but we can be so much more extroverted than that, but it's an introverted week. You're just going to find yourself, I think, quite a bit feeling like you just want to be quiet. You want to be still. You want to just do your own thing. And intrusions like loud people, house guests, music, loud noises might just be more than you really want. So that's where that theory came from this week. But it is a week of stillness. Okay, my article this week is called Pumpkin Spice Magic. This is a definition of pumpkin spice. Why do we love it? Well, maybe it's not a definition of why we love it, but maybe it's a definition of why we should. So I broke apart all of the spices that are in pumpkin spice, because of course it's a blend, and defined all of their magical properties. So of course, cinnamon is good for clairvoyance, consecration, divination, energy, good luck, money, passion, peace, love, and many other things. Nutmeg. Nutmeg is, of course, it's a little nut, right? And nutmeg its magical qualities include prosperity, good luck, psychic awareness, fortune, clairvoyance, divination, justice, and meditation. Did you guys know that nutmeg is amazing for psychic gifts? Yeah, eat it, smell it, diffuse it, put a tiny drop of the oil right in the middle of your forehead. By tiny drop, I do mean tiny. You do not want this in your eyes. Allspice. Allspice is grown in Jamaica. Its magical uses include money, luck, healing, compassion, determination, energy, fertility, love, renewal, and can be an aphrodisiac. So definitely be slipping that into dinner. Ginger. Ginger, particularly powdered ginger root, is used in magic to enhance magical work and for protection from negative influences. And cloves. Cloves are they're the unopened buds from an evergreen tree. Did you know that? I did not know that, from an evergreen tree. So, and of course you see these ones, these are the ones that people make pomodors from, or pomanders, sorry, that with oranges or grapefruit, you know, that they stuff all of the clove buds in. And those were initially used to help for protection. Now, of course, they also help with smell, because we were talking about ages of time where homes and people weren't nearly as clean as they are these days, we hope. Maybe not my house, but in general. So they were used for smell, but also to protect homes from negative influences. So magically, cloves are used for protection, banishing hostile and negative forces, and gaining what is sought. They are also good for creating community and kinship in social gatherings. So bringing something with clove to, say, a dinner party or something like that is a great way to help create kinship. Kind of fun, right? So now you know all of the reasons why the ingredients in pumpkin spice is bringing people together and has created quite the stir over the past several years. There's a reason. Alrighty. Kai talks this week about labyrinths, and I loved it so much that it makes me want to put a labyrinth in my yard. I'm going to have to put Scott on this job. That's what happens. I dream something up, and well, he figures it out because he's great like that. But the ancient symbol of the labyrinth is to discover your wholeness or to find your way. And I love what she said about the labyrinth. Very interesting. Some of you might live in places where you have gardens, like public gardens that have labyrinths. And if you do this fall, seek one out and go walk it by yourself, not with anybody who's going to talk the whole time, right? Part of that stillness we were talking about, I guess. Alrighty. Dr. Elisa says, create sacred space for yourself. Remember that not only is the space sacred, but you are sacred in the space. Very important to remember. You need sacred space. It needs to be where you live, right? Your home has got to be some semblance of sacred space. If it's not, you need to work on that, because this is a space you need to have. Yeah. Now, moving forward, I wanted to point you out to Chris Ann Morgan, her article, This Intuitive Life. She has created the coolest oracle. So it's a video, and when you play it, you see all of these different cards basically flashing before your eyes. Trust your guidance to hit pause whenever you're ready, and whatever is on that card is what you need to know. Alternatively, you can ask a question and then hold space for that question to be answered and hit pause. Anytime you're going to start over, just draw the arrow back so that you can start over, right? But this is the coolest thing. She also has it posted for her, well, under This Intuitive Life. That's her business page on Instagram and Facebook, and it's just really cool. So let's ask a question. All right, let's ask the question, what does the collective need to know today? Okay, I'm going to hit play. All right, what does the collective need to know today? I'll hit pause as soon as I feel ready. Now. Okay, the card says, don't let perfectionism get in the way of progress. Ooh, yeah. Did you need to hear that? Did I need to hear that? Likely, yes. Chris Ann, it's awesome. It's so cool. Good job. That is so much fun. She told me it took her 2 years because she designed all of the cards and then had to, you know, find an app and a way to put this all together in the sense that she did it. So well done. And thank you. What a fun resource for all of us. All right. We have Taya's Collective Chakrascope reading for the week of September 9th. And I love it. She said a big sigh of relief. And Taya, I have to tell you, that is exactly how I have felt. Last week and this week too, everything feels a little bit more relaxed. My whole body has relaxed. It's amazing. Is it the time of year? Is it the energy we're in? Is it the fact that we finally have moved through the hurricane? I'm sure a lot of things have to do with it. But yay, I'm all about it. Alrighty. Thank you, Taya. You are the best. Okay, just a couple more things I wanted to bring your attention to in Luminous, and we'll keep moving, but all new articles all the way through it. So make sure that you take a look at them. But I wanted to point out that there is a class starting tonight. It is Soul Collage. It's Soul Collage for Beginners by Julie Aronson. Julie, of course, she's writing Julie's Gems in Luminous. And for the entire summer, she's been showing us her own personal cards that she has made through the Soul Collage process and talked us through them. And it's awesome. So her class tonight is an introduction to Soul Collage. She's going to start teaching you how to make your own cards. She's been through the entire process and trained to be an instructor. And so she's really, she's gone the distance to be able to teach you how to do it. And it's essentially, and Julie, if you're listening and I'm not completely on target, please feel free to correct me. But my understanding is that it is a system of building your own divination cards. You know, paying a lot of attention to images and symbology and what speaks to you. And then there's a very specific way that you give yourself readings with these cards. So it's so cool. Anyway, go take her class. It's going to be awesome. And what a great thing to do this time of year. School is where it's at, right? So pretty great. So again, thank you so much. Julie, I'm excited for your class, and thank you for always being so great in Luminous as well. So that's Luminous this week. So go ahead and I hope you have a chance to read all of the articles. And if something jumps out at you and you love it, let the author know. It always feels good to hear that. Okay, I want to tell you guys a little bit about the Daily Dish. So you know that I have the Domestic Mystics Daily Dish. This is something that I put out every single week, or every single day, sorry. This is a daily reading that I offer. It kind of depends on what it is. It was intended to be a look at the energy of the day to give people an opportunity to feel into, you know, what does the energy of the day feel like, in case you need a little heads up, which is always nice, right? But sometimes it's a little different than that, because honestly, I just trust spirit. I channel a message, I put it into play, and I send it out to you guys. So I'm putting a link in the chat room to subscribe to the Daily Dish if you would like to. But if you head over to Katie-Weaver, you can do it there too. But what I really wanted to do is show you the Daily Dish, because it has a brand new format. So I'm going to throw a link up in the chat room, but brand new format that I started over the weekend, and I'm really pleased with it. I'm hoping you guys do love it. I have to tell you that I had an email right before the show pointing out that I misspelled a word in the Daily Dish today, which I hate that I did that. It really bothers me. So sorry about that. There is a misspelled word. The word is dialogue, in case you're wondering. But the Daily Dish today is: listen today more than you speak. Pay attention to tone, body language, and the energy that people are emitting. You will learn a lot about the people around you and how to interface with them. Personally, you are feeling a bit introverted anyway. Your internal dialogue will likely be plenty of company. So that is the Daily Dish, but again, I just wanted to share it with you so that you could see the new format. It gives me an opportunity to share a little bit more with you guys of what I'm working on, what's going on, you know, in the domestic mystic world, and have a larger spot to provide the Daily Dish. A lot of times I put a quote in there as well. The quote today is by Susan Sontag. Do stuff, be clenched, curious, not waiting for inspiration's shove or society's kiss on your forehead. Pay attention. It's all about paying attention. Attention is vitality. It connects you with others. It makes you eager. Stay eager. I loved that. How often do we wait to take action because we think that there's going to be some flashing neon light that tells us what to do? And sometimes we don't act when we should because we're waiting for something, right? Don't wait. Take action. Be big, be brave. I love that message. So that's the daily dish. That's the way it looks now. So of course it still comes out via email, and you can read the home page. The first page shows up in your email, or I think it should, depending on your carrier. It does in all of mine that I send it to. But if you click on it, then it'll open up the entire thing. So that's how it works. And I do hope that you guys are enjoying that. So yeah, but if you're having trouble with it, let me know. I'm curious to know, just in case. You never know. Okay. Oh, thank you, Erin and Renee. They both said that they love the Divine Symbols shirts. I love them too. I've been looking for a print-on-demand company that I can put those symbols on journals. I think those would be really nice on journals, like really nice journals. Something I've been working on. Okay, let's keep moving. So I think that I'm going to have some time towards the end of the show for a few readings. Probably not a lot, but I'll keep an eye out, because I think I will. But I want to do what I want to do today. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to offer us a collective reading for the full moon that's coming up at the end of the week. The moons recently have just been so big and so powerful, and I've really been kind of digging on that energy and digging into it maybe a little bit more than usual. So I'm really excited about this, because I was thinking this morning, well, I was looking at my bookshelf and a certain deck jumped out at me, and it is the, let's see, I want to show you guys. It is the Fairy Tale Tarot deck by Lisa Hunt. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this deck, but I'll show it to you here in the chat. By the way, if you're not watching the live stream, you might want to for this part, just because I'm going to show you the card at least, but I'll tell you about it as well. But Fairy Tale Tarot, it's a big kit by Lisa Hunt. This is a really fun deck. It's not a deck to do like a big spread. Like I would not do a Celtic cross with this, or an Osho spread. It's more like you pull one card and ask, what do I need to know about, or how should I proceed with? And then there is a long story to read. And I mean, seriously, it's a big deck. It's a 72 card deck, and there's this fairy tale that goes along with every single card. I have learned more fairy tales out of this deck than I have ever done any other place in my life. So really interesting ones from all over the world. So it's a fun deck to play with. It's just a fun deck to look at. But after my magical weekend, I thought, this is the deck I want to read with today. And it was one of my mom's, so I always love reading with some of hers. She had quite a few really interesting decks in her office when she died, and we split them up, and this happened to be one of the ones that I got. So anyway, so I pulled a card asking what we need to know about the full moon. So the card that I pulled is from the Major Arcana, and it is the Transformation card. So I'm going to show it to you guys in the live stream. Where if I put it there? My webcam light is making it hard to see. There we go. Okay, so this is the Beauty and the Beast story, though not 100% Disney-fied, but it's Beauty and the Beast. So in the picture, you see Beast laying, presumably dead, in the rose garden. You see Beauty holding him sobbing. You see the roses. You see the trees embodying the spirit of magic, or the spirit of their love. So that's the card. Now, I'm actually going to read you the fairy tale. I want to just read it because I don't want to paraphrase it and miss anything. It's written beautifully. So that's my plan, is to go ahead and just read it to you right from the book. I could paraphrase it for you, but then again, why would I? When I could read it to you and it would be that much more powerful. I hate to say I had it pulled up in my book and then I lost it. So sorry for that, but I'll find it here quickly as we talk. But I just love this deck. If you're looking for a fun deck to play with, If you're looking for a fun deck to just have some fun with, to learn a little bit with, I highly recommend this one because it is fun. And to me, and maybe not everybody agrees with me, and that's cool, but to me, intuition should be fun. All of this learning should be fun. Frankly, the growth we go through in some way should be fun and enjoyable and interesting. And that's why I love decks like this that are interesting, that really make you think, and that have an enormous amount of thought put into them, you know, that we get to benefit from in such fabulous ways. So here we go with the story. All right, I'm going to show you guys the card one more time because I've seen quite a few more people join the live stream. So this is the card. Again, it is the tale of Beauty and the Beast. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a rich merchant who had 3 daughters. The youngest was affectionately known as Beauty and had a kind heart to match. One day, the merchant lost his fortune when his loaded ship sank in rough seas. Suddenly, he was broke and was forced to exchange his luxurious home for a country cottage. Despite their misfortune, Beauty remained cheerful and did her best to keep their humble abode neat and clean. By contrast, her sisters were lazy and resentful and were quick to criticize their hard-working sibling. But as fate would have it, one of the ships did, in fact, survive the ordeal and had made it to port. With an opportunity to recover some of his losses, the merchant prepared for his journey across town. Before departing, he asked each of his daughters what gifts he could bring back for them. The 2 older sisters greedily demanded new gowns and jewelry, but Beauty only asked for a rose. The merchant arrived to learn that the cargo was hung up by legalities, forcing him to leave poorer than when he arrived. He rode his horse through a dense forest that was suddenly besieged by a storm. Tired, hungry, and cold, the merchant was about to succumb to his suffering when he saw an illuminated castle. It was a beacon in the bleak landscape. He rode his horse into the courtyard and found an unattended stable full of hay. He took his horse and proceeded to he took care of his horse and proceeded to the castle. The door was open, and there was a beautiful table setting for one. After waiting for what seemed like an interminable amount of time, the merchant could no longer stand the hunger and devoured the offerings. As he finished, he looked up in the air and thanked the presumed generous fairy for his provisions. He then walked the halls and found a room with a bed and fell fast asleep. In the morning, he saddled up the horse and was about to leave the castle grounds when he saw a rose bush. Ah, a rose for my Beauty, he thought. But as soon as he plucked one, a horrific howl ripped through the morning air and suddenly hovered over the merchant with intimidating fury. "You ungrateful man," scolded a huge beastly creature. The merchant fell to his knees and begged for mercy. "Please, I was picking a flower for my daughter. I mean you no harm." But the beast responded, "You will be allowed to return home in exchange for one of your daughters. You have 3 days to return with her, or else you will meet your doom. Now, go back to the room where you slept and take the gold box that stands on the table. It will serve to remind you of our agreement." The meek merchant did as he was told and retrieved the box. Before fleeing home, he spoke to his daughters of his woes, whereby Beauty declared that she would go to the beast. Her father would not hear of it, but when 3 days were up, Beauty mounted a horse by her father's side. When they arrived at the dreaded castle, 2 place settings were waiting for them. They ate and cried together, before her father reluctantly left. When the host appeared before Beauty, he was not the wrathful ogre that she thought he might be. Instead, he spoke kindly and had an articulate manner that was intriguing to her. And Beast generously provided her all manner of comforts and beautiful gowns. Every evening, Beast would join her at mealtime, and Beauty soon looked forward to the animated conversations that would ensue. In fact, she enjoyed being with him so much that she almost forgot what a fine gentleman that was really a beast. "Beauty, will you marry me?" Beast asked out of the blue. Beauty nearly gasped, then reflected and finally answered, "No, Beast, this I cannot do." Beauty spent 3 months at the castle, poring over the volumes of books that Beast had provided for her. From time to time, Beast would ask Beauty to marry him, but Beauty would decline each time. Everything went along fine until a magic mirror revealed to Beauty that her father was heartsick and ill. "Please, Beast," she implored, "I must go to my father." "I will let you see him if you remember to return here in 7 days' time," said the Beast somberly. Beauty returned home and helped nurse her father to health. Her jealous sisters eyed the girl with great envy, seeing the spoils of being a wealthy beast's mistress. And with this, they began to plot her destruction. They rubbed their eyes with onion and appeared remorseful as they begged their sister to stay. Beauty naively embraced the newfound affection, but later had a premonition and knew she had to go back to Beast. But when Beauty returned, it was too late. There lay Beast in the beloved rose garden. She held him and cried, "Oh, Beast, I love you so dearly. Please stay with me and let us live out our days as husband and wife." With this, the castle lit up, and Beast was transformed into a handsome prince. An evil fairy had placed a curse on him, with only true love having the transformative power to return him to his original form. Beauty and the Beast returned to the castle and lived happily ever after. So many takeaways from this story. Okay, so let's get into it. So what does this have to do with us and the full moon, right? Okay. Well, I mean, one message that comes from this story that I think we should always remember and take to heart is that, of course, love is the answer. Love has the power. Love can move mountains and break down barriers and build bridges, right? And that's an underlying current in the Beauty and the Beast story, of course. Love. But there's so much more. Because the message is also of transformation. It really strikes me that Beauty did the thing that her sisters did not want to do, right? She went to live with the Beast. She was brave. She saved her father. She did the thing that nobody else wanted to do. And from that thing came so many beautiful gifts, right? She found love. She found comfort. She was well taken care of. I think that's a part of that story that's a good message to all of us, that sometimes stepping out of your comfort zone, allowing yourself to transform, allowing yourself to do something different, allowing yourself to love a beast, just might be the thing that your spirit really needs. Just might be the thing that brings true transformation into your world, right? Just maybe. So there's that. And I love that part of that story. But there's also the idea that from a perceived death springs new life, right? Essentially, Beast died, and with her love, she broke the spell. And from that, he sprang back into, well, his former self, actually, but into the handsome prince. And to me, that's a big part of the story as well. He was able to transform a new configuration of being, transformed into a better place. But what looked to be like the worst case scenario, right? In her eyes, it appeared that Beast had died, that she'd lost her love. He didn't. He transformed. And I think so frequently when we go through a big change in our lives, it's easy to fall into a place of grief, a place of asking why and why me. And don't get me wrong. When you go through a big change, you need to go through those emotions. It's okay. There's no shame in that. That's how it should be. But at some point, hopefully, something can spring from those ashes that is useful to you. So let's circle this back around now to the full moon. So this full moon is about transformation. It's about letting things burn down that don't serve you anymore and let something new jump up out of the ashes. It requires some courage, right? It requires some kind of changing yourself. It requires you to be brave enough and to be strong enough to let things fall apart. It might not be something huge. Then again, maybe it will. That'll be something different for all of us, I'm sure. But that's what this full moon is about, is transforming. So on the full moon, I'm going to highly recommend to all of you that you just take an inventory of your world, that you look at, are there things here that are trying to fall away? Are there things here that are trying to leave me, that perhaps I'm fighting really hard to hold on to, that I'm having a hard time letting go of? And if that's the case, why? And what do you need to do about it to straighten things out? That's a big part of the message, I think. So there you go. Beauty and the Beast for this full moon. I love it. So I'd be curious to know if there's any other takeaways that I missed or that came up for you as far as this story is concerned that tie into, well, life in general or this full moon. If you have anything you want to share on that front, please do. I love it. That's a lot of fun. So I had to point out that Terry said that she's writing a fairy story and it's now 44 chapters long. I'm so excited for you. So you're going to at some point publish this, I'm hoping. You don't know, that creative fear in your heart. I felt you. Yes, you probably will. I'm excited. Please keep us posted about that. I think that you probably already know this, Terry, but so many of us here in the 1-2 world are big fans, right, of the Fae. So definitely share with us if you can, if you will. Like when you publish, we want to read it. Speaking of Fae, have you guys watched Carnival Row yet? So Carnival Row is a brand new series on Amazon Video or through your Fire Stick, and it's freaking awesome. I loved it. So I already blasted through the first season, probably way too fast because now I don't know, the second season probably won't come out for, a million months. But oh my gosh, it was so good. I mean, I'm definitely going to go back and watch it again. But it seems like you go through it so quickly the first time, and then it makes sense to come back and go through it again just to, just to refresh, just to make sure that you caught it all, right? So definitely going back. But the Fae in Carnival Row are incredible, and they are deeply, what's the right word? Deeply persecuted, and really set up to fail. They had to flee their homeland because of violence, and they've come somewhere that is also full of violence. It's really sad. But anyway, the story, it's an interesting social commentary, and I absolutely loved it. So if you guys watch it, then come back here and we'll have to talk about it because, well, that's what we do. Tammy said, nice story. Thank you, Tammy. That was fun. Maybe we'll make this like a regular, like a full moon event, right? We'll see. We'll see if it strikes me next month. I never know. I only pretend like I'm in charge, right? All right, let's take a piece, or a peek here at the chat room. Okay. Mary said, your analogy with Beauty and the Beast and transformation hit me spot on. Thank you, Mary. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, Julie pointed out, I knew, I really wanted to hear this. Julie pointed out that her class, the Soul Collage class, does include a journaling process to really engage with the energy of the card that you create. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Yes, a journaling process, which is good for a lot of us. Are you guys good about journaling, or do you suck with it? I suck with it, to be honest. Yep. And sorry, I do. I write well and then I don't, you know. I think that's how we all are, but it's something that I've wanted to be better about, is like daily journaling, but so far not so much. Maybe I'll grow in that. But I love that that is an aspect of your class, Julie, because that seems to be something that a lot of us really need. So, okay, I want to do the Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move reading for the week. So, of course, this is my deck, and you can find more information about it over at katie-weaver.com. So, I'm going to pull cards. Of course, this is a 5-card spread. We're asking for exercises for spiritual self-care. So we'll pull a ground card, a bless card, a protect card, a move card, and a boost card. So I'm just pulling the cards right now, and then we will get into it. I really like having cards that give us a peek into some ideas for spiritual self-care, because I think that we tend to not really, we don't always engage in spiritual self-care as well as we could, just because you're going to keep on going without decent spiritual self-care. I mean, you'll still be on the planet, right? If you don't feed yourself, at some point, you know, your body's not going to put up with that anymore. If you don't take good care of your body, at some point your body's not going to put up with that anymore. But your spirit takes a beating and just keeps on going. But you can feel better, right? And thrive more if you find a way to engage in better spiritual self-care. So that's the point of that deck. So here's the ground card. The ground card this week is the Touch the Earth card. So the Touch the Earth card is just that, right? Put yourself on the earth and allow yourself to ground to the energy of the earth by touching it in some way. And really, I mean, put your bare feet or your bare hands on or in the earth, and it's still warm enough that we can do that, right? So easy enough. The Bless card this week is the root chakra. So interesting. Seems like we need a little help with grounding, which doesn't surprise me too much, considering that we've been through some pretty major earth shifts here the last couple of weeks. You know, that hurricane, regardless of where you live, that shook the empaths to their core. The other thing that is shaking people up right now is that tomorrow is 9/11. And 9/11, you know, it still comes back every year. For one thing, the news, your social media feed, everyone's talking about it. And not that they shouldn't, you know, but it comes up and it hits the empaths smack in the face every year. So tending to your root chakra makes a whole lot of sense. So how do you bless your root? Well, I actually like to bless your feet to bless your root in this aspect. So first of all, sit on the floor, sit in a place where you can put your hands on your feet, or stand and bend down and put your hands on your feet if you're like way cool like that. But put your hands on your feet, take a few deep breaths, and then speak out loud the attributes that you would like your root to be blessed with. Perhaps you would like stability. Perhaps you would like a better connection to the earth. Perhaps you would like calm, comfort, safety. What does your root need? And then I like to always anoint a chakra blessing with an essential oil. So for the root, I love frankincense. Sandalwood's great too. So is myrrh. If you like the scent of it, I can't do myrrh, just but some people like it, so no offense. But just one drop of oil, just rub it on both feet and let that be your blessing. Okay? All right. The protect card is the bulletproof glass card. So this is the idea of visualizing putting up bulletproof glass between you and someone who might be firing at you. Do you sit across from someone at work who shoots daggers at you all day? Do you live with someone who is angry? You live with teenagers, do you? Well, bulletproof glass. Bulletproof glass is a great way to be in the vicinity of someone who makes you quite unhappy and yet still be able to get yourself through it, right? So all you do is close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and envision giant thick panes of bulletproof glass sliding up in between you and that person so that whatever attitude comes your way isn't making its mark. It's not sticking on you because it can't. All right, the move card is the meditate card. That really goes along with that same theory that we're in a week of stillness and introversion where you need your space, you need your time, you need quiet. So take a little time this week for meditation. If you don't already meditate, 15 minutes a day. If you want to do more than that, fine, but don't make yourself miserable. 15 minutes a day is good enough to really start getting the shift that you want, shifting yourself into a better place of peace and easier access to your intuition, and right now into that place of stillness that your spirit just keeps asking for. All right, the boost card is Get Social. This is a good time to reach out for some support. Coffee with friends or a good chat on the phone would be good for you. So that's the Get Social card. So even though it's a week of being introverted, what did I just say? Don't be too much of a hermit, right? Give yourself a few minutes loving up the energy of somebody who's like-minded. And maybe it's somebody else who's feeling introverted as hell that you can sit with in a quiet space, you know, in a gentle space, and be able to share a little bit with without overdoing it. So, and as always, know when to go home. All right, so that is that. Okay. Oh, Terry said she sucks with journaling. Me too. Julie says soul collage has been good for me to get some words out on paper instead of holding them in my head by using written prompts. And see, I think that's the key, right? But Quelly also said that her journaling always turns into scribble. That's okay too. There's something very grounding and therapeutic about doodling. So if that's what it turns into, let it be that instead of like angry scribbles. But then again, maybe that's what you need, right? Okay. Alrighty. A couple of things I wanted to take a look at. Erin says, hello, if time permits, I know you can't diagnose, but you can see I have a shoulder issue and I'm not sure if it's a pinched nerve or something more. Are you getting anything on that? And one more thing. Do you see in my future a move, possibly to mountains or near water? All right, let's take a look at the shoulder first. There sure is inflammation in there, Erin. Yeah, I know you're going to the doctor. I know you're treating it medically, which you absolutely have to, of course. I do think that you probably do. I feel like what I see is physical therapy. I see some manual adjustment. And I see your doctor really wanting to hit the inflammation hard. So what I do see though is that there is a solution, that you don't have to be in major pain with the shoulder forever. I also see some energy around it that I'm not comfortable with. So that's the job I can do. So I want to do a little clearing on that shoulder. So I'm going to do that right now. It looks like a hand clamped down really tight on it. And you know, sometimes people, in their attempts to keep us the same or control us, their energy will attach to us in that way. And I feel like that needs to go because it is creating pain and pressure. So I'm just going to go ahead, Erin, and take a hold of that hand. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to heal it with love and return it to center. That felt so fear-based. Somebody in your world that's full of fear, that really needs you to stay the same, stay in one place, be manageable. Okay, so I'm going to heal that up. And then let's do some ethereal metals. So I'm going to call in the ethereal energy of sterling silver. I'm going to start at the top of your shoulder, and I'm going to send ribbons of sterling silver all the way down that shoulder, actually all the way out the palm of your hand. So I'm going to send it clear down your arm. So sterling silver is crazy for inflammation and for spiritual inflammation where you had an attachment here. All right, so back to the top and down in. With metals, a lot of times you send them through, but you remove them. That's one of the principles of working with ethereal metals. Okay, one more time through the top of that shoulder, all the way through your arm, because I feel an ache in your wrist and even in your fingers, and it's probably just because the shoulder's got a thing going on, but I do think it's affecting you all the way through your hand. Well, I'm glad that you are getting it treated and taken care of, because that chronic pain is no way to live, right? That feels really crappy. So, okay, very good. All righty. Okay, Madeline says, do you have any guidance about my health? I've had issues with my stomach since May, and then I keep getting colds. I never get colds otherwise. Would love guidance on what I need to do. Madeline, if I were you, I would talk to a naturopath about what your gut needs, because I feel like two things. It makes me wonder if you're too acidic, but it really makes me wonder if you have not got the right immunity in your gut currently. And that might not be because, that might not have caused the stomach issues, but I think the stomach issues have caused it. So that's what I would ask your naturopath or your doctor about what your gut needs to have healthy immunity, because I wonder if that's where the colds are coming from. You know, there's a connection there between your stomach being off and then getting sick all the time, because a great deal of your immune system lives in your gut. So you have to have the right flora in there to have a great immune system. So I think you're right on that there's a combination there. So that's what I would ask your naturopath about, and get some help in getting the right things going in your belly again. Ooh, Carol said that she was working on chai tea. Yes, that is the only tea that Scott will drink, and he drinks it every single day. Yep. Love it. Maureen was drinking lemon ginger. I love it. Love it, love it. Okay. I love that you guys, we're just usually all together here drinking something and doing something together. Okay. Jessica said, can you connect with my friend who has passed? Her name is Katie. She died from suicide. Can you ask her if she's okay? Oh, Jessica, I kind of felt like I didn't have time for this, but I really, she's not going to leave me alone. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and call her in. Yeah, so she says that she had chronic depression. She really struggled with it. She also seemed to not have the family support that she needed. Not that this was their fault, of course, but like things just didn't go her way. She really struggled. And it seems like if something bad was going to happen to somebody, it tended to happen to her. And she just couldn't quite get past it. Okay, she says that's enough about that. She said she wanted to address you. She said, I want to make sure that Jess knows that I love her and that I'm sorry that I left that way. I just really needed out. She shows me so much pressure and pain in her chest. So yes, she's okay. Yes, she's around. She said, talk to her more, please. And she said that you guys have some fun stories, times where you really laughed a lot together. She says you guys understood each other better than other people around you. You had a great understanding of each other, and that she really cherished that. And so she said you two could giggle and laugh about stuff that nobody else had any idea what was going on or why. So she said, please keep those stories in mind and maybe even write them down, because those are things that help keep her present with you and keep her energy light and bright. So that's good. Okay. I do love that. Alrighty. We've done what we do. We've talked down to the end of the show. So thank you all so much for being here with me today. Thank you for playing along with our fairy tale. That was a lot of fun. You can find me on Thursday with the Psychic Sisters, but I'm going to head right back over to 1-2-Listen right now, so you can find me there for the rest of the day and evening. So if you need a reading or some energy work, animal communication, mediumship, come talk to me. Let's work on it. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care and have a wonderful day. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.